I've been flirting with the idea of getting goats for years. We have about 1.5 acres of land that is covered with invasives and brush, and it needs to be cleared so it doesn't get worse. And I think goats or sheep are probably the best way to do it. But they are also living beings and a lot of responsibility. So I was talking about this with a colleague at Berkshire Community College, and he said I needed to go see his mom's farm, and that I could definitely handle goats. So after months of procrastinating on my end, I finally went over this week to see her place, and it was great. She has a small spread with a handful of goats, 1 sheep, some chickens to eat ticks in the yard, some ducks, and some geese for egg and chicken protection. The geese marched around the yard on patrol, 3 little beautiful white geese looking very serious. And the ducks were cavorting in puddles near my car, and the goats looked out balefully at the rain from their little house. And the farmer offered her help in where to find goats and to come back anytime with questions, and she shared who had helped her and told me to stop and see them and that they could be a big help to me as well. She told me where she sourced her fencing and ballparked costs for me. I was there for maybe 10 minutes in the pouring rain on Thursday, and she helped me so much. This woman, her name is Nance. She reminded me of my own farmer family up in Vermont and about how generous farmers can be with their abundance. When someone has more than their family can eat of one thing or another, they often give it away or sell it at a bargain so it gets eaten. And right now, Taft Farms down the street is giving away squash to anyone who has a SNAP card, if you or someone you know could use that. When my uncle passed away last year, people came from all over the area to help bring in the hay and offered all sorts of assistance around the farm. There's probably lots of reasons for generosity among small farmers, including a love of their land and history. But something I've experienced is that when folks are connected so intimately with caring for food, so reliant on things out of their control, weather, pests, and luck, that being connected in community and being generous when able is part of their survival and culture. Now, that said, there are plenty of callings and professions where folks are generous with their time and gifts and cultivate relationships. There are many people offering services for free to those who need them, including so many volunteers in this congregation, both for others in our congregation and out in the community. Can you think of a time in your work life when someone was generous with you, helped teach you something, or listened when you needed to vent? When someone helped get you through some bureaucracy, or used their training to help others. In describing our shared value of generosity in Unitarian Universalism, we say that we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. When we act with generosity, it's from a place of hope. We are all interconnected. We are all part of the organism that is our earth. What we do to and for one another and to the earth impacts all of us. In our reading this morning, Robin Wall Kimmerer wrote, "To name the world as a gift is to feel your membership in the web of reciprocity. It makes you happy, and it makes you accountable. You're likely to take much better care of the gift hat than of the commodity hat because the gift is knit of relationships. I imagine if we acknowledged that everything we consume is the gift of Mother Earth, we would take better care of what we are given." There is profound need in this world and suffering. Last week, I made a special appeal for funds toward the local food pantries, and you came through so generously. Thank you so much. And I know that folks are doing more on their own as well. When resources are scarce or perceived to be scarce, folks can respond with incredible generosity and kindness. And sometimes we can act out of fear with meanness and callousness. Things are hard. We don't need to make them harder. To practice generosity is not just to give things or time to other people. At its root, generosity is about listening to each other's stories and learning about what we each need. Unitarian Universalist minister Galen Gingrich from All Souls, New York, wrote years ago in his book, God Revised, "Just as atoms are never lost in physical reactions, so no human experience, however tragic, is ever suffered alone or eternally forgotten." He continues, as Whitehead puts it, everything that happens in the universe, its sufferings, its sorrows, its triumphs, its immediacies of joy, is woven into the harmony of a completed whole. We are in this together, inexorably bound to one another. We're also human beings, and we make mistakes, cause hurt, and can drift from our intentions. This is, in part, why we are with each other here. We come together in spiritual community for lots of reasons. We come to celebrate, mourn, connect, to gather strength and tools to go out into the world and make it better. We also come together to remind ourselves what is most important to us and why. If you're feeling yourself pull toward despair, isolation, hopelessness, I invite you to experiment with a practice of generosity. First, be generous with yourself, because yes, there is suffering and you are part of that, as is everyone else. And then remember that there is also love at the center, and you are part of that, as is everyone else. A practice of generosity can begin as simply as taking a deep breath and finding one thing, no matter how big or small, that you are grateful for. Then, as you move through the world, listen. If you are able to be of service, do that first by listening to others' experience and needs. Feel those strands of interconnection around us. Strengthen them where you can, and lean on them when you need. As we approach Thanksgiving, we might reflect on opportunities to be more generous, and not just with our money or time, but in our hearts with one another. So may it be, and amen.